Welcome back, guys. I hope you guys are all doing well. And I was thinking about this topic last week about college. To me, I was trying to think about okay, well, instead of giving 4 years of your life to something which in no way guarantees your success, what could you do? Well, you could become a horseman, a private pilot. You could become a healer, an EMT, or AEMT, or paramedic. You could become a fighter. You could become a marksman. I mean, the list goes on and on. All of these skills you can generate until you become this thing. College is all about having. Instead of being or doing, it's all about having. It's the guarantee that you get with college is that you'll make a certain amount of money. And that's nowhere near as good as being someone. One great figure that I think about frequently is Kit Carson. He was not a man who had very much wealth at all. By the time he died, he was not a wealthy man, even though he was a great, a great tool for the government. He did not die wealthy, but he was one of the most badass men in the world, and definitely one of the most badass men in history. Few men come close to him, yet he had skills which few possessed. And after building those skills and becoming competent within those skills, he then became a master at them by continuing to practice them. So instead of giving your 4 years of your life to college, especially, everyone says your 20s are so important, you got to get after it in your 20s. Well, does college really help you get after it in any way? I don't know if it does. If you're in an environment, first of all, you're in an environment where very few people are really trying to become anything. People are just there for the alcohol, the women, the men, the drugs. That's usually what it's about. So you're in an environment that isn't good in the first place. But the things you're taught, most of them, just like K through 12, isn't actually useful. Especially when you think about all that you could do within those 4 years. I'll just put a list of a few things you can do up on screen. You could go to a Dry Creek Wrangler School in Wyoming. You could get a private pilot license and be able to fly people around the country. Fry people around. You could go to the American Cowboy Academy in Texas. There's so many things you could do. You could get a open water diving certification. And then what would those things allow you to do? Well, then you wouldn't be dependent on a job. And that's what college is about. It's about getting a good job. But instead, with those skills, what they allow you to do is they allow you to be an entrepreneur. Once you have those skills, and maybe you find one skill, maybe you want to become an expert diver. After you get your open water certification, you're really into it, so you take it all the way. You become an expert diver. And then what do you got? You got a business out of that. You got a business. Or an expert builder, an expert wrangler. Even though wranglers and cowboys don't really make much money at all, there's still different ways that you can make a business out of it. Anything. And that's the point of it, is with what you can do in 4 years is not only learn a ton of skills, important skills, and become an incredibly competent person within 4 years, at least compared to everyone else around you, but you can build businesses off of the things you learn. So it's this great cycle you're generating. But what do you get with college? Well, you get basically a big waste of time. 4 years of your life, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time, especially if you're my age, 18, and you're just going to college, and you're going to be there for 4 years. I mean, I haven't lived that long. Everyone who's my age really hasn't lived that long, so that's a big chunk of time. That's a big chunk of our lives. And I know for sure, I mean, if I go more than 30 minutes without having something to do, I want to get up and do something. And I think that's the same for most people my age. They want to get up and do something. So, you know, if you don't have anything to get up and do except your 9 a.m. class or whatever, then you're not going to get anything done. And you're going to be disappointed that at the end of those 4 years, you're going to go, man, what did I do? And maybe you won't even be able to get a job with the degree that you got, you know? And you probably didn't learn very many skills. But on top of that, more time is wasted trying to pay back the student loans. I mean, I don't remember exactly what the figures are, and there's lots of different figures. I mean, all these statistics, I can't even speak. All these statistics are completely different. You can go to one website and it says one thing, another and it says something completely different, but it's usually somewhere around $30,000 base for student debt. Like base, that's like the lowest possible, basically. But of course, for some people, it goes up to $250,000 or more. So then countless years of your life are going to go to paying that. And that's money that you could have used to gain these skills. I mean, you could become an expert builder. Not even an expert builder, you could become a competent builder by going to a place like the Shelter Institute, where they teach you how to build a house. They teach you how to build a house. I mean, why would you not choose that over going to college? That's such a crazy, well, stop tracking me. That's such a amazing trade-off, you know? So, man, the sun is crazy. So basically, I was in an Uber, actually probably just exactly a year ago, and I was talking to the Uber driver, and he was talking about student loans, and because at this time, student loan forgiveness was very big in the news. Biden was talking about how he was going to forgive all of it, just forgive all of it, and set people free, basically, set them free. And so he was very hopeful. This Uber driver was very hopeful that was going to happen, because he went to school in the 2010s, and guess what? He's still paying for student loans. Now, he didn't go to a crazy expensive college or anything either. I was actually just nearby the University of Alabama, but he didn't go to the University of Alabama. I don't actually remember which school he went to, but I remember that it was not, I don't remember what he mentioned, but it was not an expensive school at all. But still, years later, he was still having to pay off his student loans, and he was constantly worried about it. And that's why he was an Uber driver, you know? He thought going to college would offer him, well, what everybody thinks it will offer him or offer them, and that's opportunity after opportunity. But, you know, then you see what happens. And this was just a prime example of what can happen, you know? And some people have bigger safety nets, so they can fall back on their parents and live with their parents for a while and pay off some of their student loans and maybe find a job. And maybe eventually they find a job later on down the line that has to do with their degree. But some of these kids, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, I'm sure you have, but some of these people who have graduated college cannot find a job. Or they get into a 9-to-5 and realize it sucks and they hate it, you know? And of course they would. Of course they would. I mean, that's not what you want. You don't want to 9 to 5. So, the point is, what can be done within 4 years? What can be done with $35,000? I mean, if your parents are going to do anything, if you're a parent and you're thinking about sending your kid to college, and let's say you just put away $35,000, start looking at things that can actually build them skills, and then realize that they can become incredibly confident with $35,000, which you probably, for some people, have more, and maybe some have less, but still, the skills you can gain with $35,000 or around that is incredible compared to college. You don't get a piece of paper, sure, at least with some places, but you get skills, you get real skills, and you get to use those skills later on down the line when you become a master at them, or at least fairly confident, to build a business of some sort, or just be useful in a certain condition, a certain situation. And that's so much more helpful. I mean, that's what you actually want. So, yeah, I wrote an article about this last week, and I thought I'd make a video basically saying the same things about it, because I don't have, a lot of you guys are not on the Substack, and it's still good information. I like talking about it, because when you see, the way people now look at college after coming out of it, Gen Z specifically, you realize we're getting screwed. And I just want to give an alternative to that, because at the moment I'm doing the alternative, and I'm seeing already with 21 weeks into that alternative that I am on a much better course than people going to college. And the amount of skills that I've learned, things that I've learned, are valuable and applicable to the world, and that's what you want. That's what we all want. So I thought I'd make this quick video. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm gonna start making a video every week. That's one of my New Year's goals, is to make a video every week, and at least one video, maybe some shorts too. But I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you guys next time.